At 4,000 meters above sea level, on a cliff face battered by freezing wind, 10,000 bees are about to do something that no individual bee could ever achieve alone. This is the Shimmering wave, and it only happens once in the final minutes before dark. But to understand why, we need to go back 14 hours to the moment this mountain first drew breath. "5 a.m., 7:45 a.m. At 4,000 meters, where the air holds barely 60% of its sea level oxygen, the eastern Himalayan rhododendron cloud forest clings to existence. Ancient birch trunks draped in moss, granite sealed beneath lichen, and flowers so crimson they bleed into the mist. This is the frontier of arthropod survival. Before dawn, a Himalayan ground beetle, Carabus cashmerensis, patrols a granite boulder slicked with dew. Its carapace shimmers with iridescent violet and green colors, produced not by pigment, but by multi-layer structural interference within the cuticle nanoscale architecture that splits light into spectral bands. Its compound eye, ommatidia, reflect the cold blue dawn as its serrated mandibles part and its antennae sweep the stone. As light approaches, it retreats beneath curling birch bark, yielding to the diurnal world. Beneath a rhododendron trunk, the Himalayan giant centipede, Scolopendra subspinipes, completes its final nocturnal sweep. Its body moves in metachronal wave locomotion, each of its many leg pairs firing in precise sequence, a fraction of a second after the one in front. A pattern of coordinated movement so ancient it predates the dinosaurs by 200 million years. At the head, its forcipules modified front legs that evolution has repurposed into venomous hypodermic fangs curve inward, glistening with moisture. The centipede coils beneath a rotting branch, and the forest floor falls silent. An orb weaver's web now declares itself between two fern fronds, a geometric spiral engineered from two molecularly distinct silk types. The radial spokes bear tensile load. The spiral strands are viscid silk capture threads, each coated in aqueous glue droplets, spaced with mathematical precision. Research published in the journal Nature has shown that these glue droplets can stretch to nearly 20 times their resting diameter before breaking a feat of polymer engineering no synthetic adhesive has matched. The spider, Neoscona nautica, reads the vibrations traveling through her web like a musician reading strings, sensing size, position, and struggle intensity from frequency alone. As the light strengthens, a creature smaller than a grain of rice emerges from a silk retreat in the birch bark. Euophrys omnisuperstes, the Himalayan jumping spider, holds the distinction of being the highest altitude permanent resident spider on Earth, documented above 6,700 meters. Its jumping spider vision is among the most sophisticated in the animal kingdom. Two enormous anterior median eyes function as single lens cameras, with independently movable boomerang-shaped retinas that scan and focus without the head moving at all. A 2012 study in Current Biology confirmed that salticid retinas can distinguish wavelengths and even detect UVB light sensory precision, packed into a brain smaller than a poppy seed. 7:45 a.m., 11:30 a.m., and then the giants arrive. Apis laboriosa, the Himalayan giant honeybee, is the largest honeybee on Earth. Its wingspan nearly 3 centimeters across. Its open-air colony hangs as a single enormous comb from the underside of a granite cliff, overhang a living curtain of thousands of bees with no enclosing walls, no fortress, only bodies pressed together. Each bee is a product of extreme high-altitude adaptation. Wings proportionally longer than lowland species to generate lift in rarefied air, where atmospheric pressure drops to roughly 60% of sea level. A 2019 study in the Journal of Experimental Biology demonstrated that Apis laboriosa compensates for thin air by increasing wing stroke amplitude by nearly 15% compared to its lowland cousin, Apis mellifera. Biomechanical solution to the physics of flight at altitude. Thermoregulation is the colony's collective obsession. By shivering their flight muscles without engaging the wings, the bees generate metabolic heat, maintaining brood temperature within a degree of 35 Celsius, even as external temperatures plunge below freezing. Foragers descend to the rhododendron canopy and wedge deep inside the crimson flower bells. Their hind legs bear the corbicula pollen basket, a smooth concave depression fringed with curved hairs, forming a natural compression vessel. And with each flower visited, bright orange pollen loads grow visibly larger. On a lichen-crusted branch nearby, a bark mantis Amorphocellus annulicornis lies pressed flat in perfect camouflage, its raptorial forelegs folded like a spring-loaded jackknife, spined femur and tibia interlocking like the teeth of a trap. A pseudopupil tracks across its compound eye, an optical artifact that gives the unsettling impression the mantis is always watching. When the jumping spider detects the mantis, it lowers into a defensive crouch and backs away discretion over confrontation. At the orb-weaver's web, a midge strikes the sticky spirals, and the wrapping sequence begins silk wound around the prey in rapid rotations, the bundle complete in seconds. Meanwhile, a Himalayan bumblebee Bombus festivus performs buzz pollination on a rhododendron bloom, vibrating its flight muscles at a specific frequency while clamped to the anthers, shaking loose pollen locked inside the anther pores. Research in functional ecology has shown that buzz pollination frequencies typically range between 200 and 400 Hz, a resonance precisely tuned to the mechanical properties of the pollen grain's attachment point. As late morning arrives, the Himalayan cicada Platylomia radha announces itself. The sound is produced not by stridulation, but by a specialized timbal organ, paired ribbed membranes on the abdomen that buckle inward and outward at rapid frequency. Each click amplified by a hollow air sac, functioning as a resonance chamber, capable of producing calls exceeding 100 decibels at close range. (11:30 a.m., 14:30 p.m.) As midday arrives, the forest enters its quietest hour. Beneath the broad rhododendron leaves, a hidden architecture of shelter reveals itself. The underside of each leaf bears a dense, velvety indumentum of rusty brown trichomes, stellate hairs that reduce water loss and UV exposure, forming a shaded sanctuary. The bumblebee clings upside down to this trichome mat, its abdomen visibly pulsing with spiracle, breathing the rhythmic opening and closing of lateral tracheal apertures, each spiracle ringed with fine guard hairs that filter particles from incoming air. A 2006 study in the Journal of Insect Physiology demonstrated that spirochelar control allows insects to regulate gas exchange while minimizing water loss, a critical adaptation at altitude where desiccation risk intensifies with every 100 meters gained. The rhododendron weevil tucks into a bark crevice, its iridescent scales dulled in flat light, antennae folded tight. Even the jumping spider retreats, though its movable retinas continue scanning behind fixed corneal lenses, searching for movement and rest. On the branch, the bark mantis has not moved in hours. A fungus gnat walks directly into its strike zone. The pseudopupil locks on. But the mantis does not strike. The gnat is too small. Patience over certainty. At the cliff face colony, the giant honeybees rest at reduced intensity. Their transparent wings reveal a complete Venetian architecture costa, subcosta, radial, medial, cubital, and anal veins, forming cells that taxonomists use to identify bee species. Tiny marginal hooks called hamuli couple fore and hind wings into a unified aerofoil. In the warming afternoon, a scorpion fly, Panorpa communis, appears on the leaf litter, its elongated rostrum tipped with tiny mandibles for feeding on carrion. The male's bulbous genital capsule curled like a scorpion's stinger, a case of convergent morphology, so striking that early naturalists classified it among the true scorpions. Its spotted wings bear microcrichia, visible only at extreme magnification, each a tiny pillar structure that researchers at the Max Planck Institute have linked to aerodynamic boundary layer control. The weevil stirs from its crevice. The day's second act begins. "30 p.m., 17, 15 p.m. The jumping spider makes its defining move. After minutes of imperceptible stalking, its body lowers into the pre-jump crouch, abdomen flat, rear legs compressing with hydraulic pressure as hemolymph pumps rapidly into the leg segments. A dragline silk trails from the spinnerets. The enormous anterior median eyes lock on. Then the leap. Rear legs extend in a fraction of a second, launching the spider in a ballistic arc covering 10 times its body length. The chelicerae plunge into the prey's thorax. Then begins extra-oral digestion. Enzymes pumped through the hollow fangs liquefy internal tissues, which the spider draws back using a muscular pharyngeal pump. The prey deflates, consumed from within. A 2015 study in the Journal of Arachnology confirmed that salticid extraoral digestion achieves nutrient extraction exceeding 85%, far surpassing most vertebrate digestive systems. As amber-gray tones spread across the forest, tension builds at the cliff face colony. A predatory hornet, a large Vespa species, appears hovering near the granite overhang. Its mandibles are broad and powerful, cutting jaws capable of decapitating prey. It circles the colony in a slow assessment loop. On the colony's surface, guard bees respond instantly. Abdomens rise, wings buzz at elevated frequency, the alarm spreading across the outer layer. But the Hornet banks sharply and retreats into the mist. The colony settles into uneasy calm. The Hornet has marked the location. It will return. As twilight gathers, the centipede emerges from its granite shelter, its segmented body flowing onto the damp forest floor, its forcipools spread wide, antennae probing the cooling air. It detects a beetle larva, rears upward, and strikes. The venomous tips penetrate the cuticle in a single thrust, the body coiling in a restraining wrap. Venom flows through the hollow forcipule channels, and the larva's struggle ceases in seconds. 17, 15 p.m., 19 p.m. As the mountain surrenders the last of its light, the colony tightens. Thousands of bees press flank to flank, thoracic hairs interweaving, legs interlocking on the wax comb, a collective contraction driven by thermoregulation. Beneath the living blanket, hexagonal cells reveal golden honey trembling with each collective shiver. Guard bees brace outward at the colony's vulnerable lower edge, antennas scanning the twilight air. The hawk moth Macroglossum stellatarum emerges and hovers before the crimson flowers, with wings beating at 80 cycles per second. Its proboscis, two interlocking gaily, forming a sealed tube, probing deep into the nectary. The pharyngeal pump draws nectar upward in rhythmic pulses. It feeds without ever landing, demanding one of the highest metabolic rates in the insect world. And now the mountain delivers its ultimate spectacle. The predatory hornet returns flight path direct, mandibles parted. On the colony surface, alarm cascades outward in a visible shockwave. Then the shimmering defense wave begins. Hundreds of bees simultaneously flip their abdomens upward in a rapid synchronized pulse, a cascading ripple sweeping across the colony face. A second wave follows from a different origin, then a third. The waves cross and interfere, creating complex patterns of coordinated motion. A 2008 study, published in PLOS 1 by Kastberger and colleagues, demonstrated that these waves travel at speeds of approximately 1/3 of a meter per second, and that wave frequency increases with proximity of the predator. A graduated, distance-calibrated response requiring no centralized command. This is superorganism collective defense made visible, not weapons, but geometry, timing, and the power of synchronization, rendering the Hornet's visual targeting system useless. The Hornet accelerates away into the dusk. The shimmering slows, the last ripple fading. The colony settles into its nighttime thermal cluster, the deep hum of thermoregulatory shivering resuming a sound that has echoed from these cliffs for millennia. In the darkness, the orb weaver plucks a radial strand. The centipede flows through blackened leaf litter. The jumping spider rests in its silk retreat, enormous eyes dormant. And as the colony's faint, warm glow fades into the black mountain void, silence claims everything. Then from the deepest darkness, a single dew droplet falls from a crimson petal. A soft crystalline tap. Dawn will come again. The colony survived tonight, but this cliff is not the only battlefield. 3,000 kilometers south, in the oldest rainforest on Earth, a different kind of architect is building something that may be even more extraordinary.